JAKIB Media YouTube channel. Look who's in the house. Now, I dare you not to hit the like button right here, right now. How can you not like Jeff Kerr joining us here on a Monday on Birds 365? We'll see if that worked. I'm always trying to sucker him into hitting that like button somehow. Jeff Kerr, you going to help us do that?
I'll give you one. So on Twitter yesterday, or X, or whatever you want to call it, John.
That's your first mistake, but go ahead.
Well, I decided to get Eagles fans riled up, Cowboys fans riled up. And this is the first of my two controversial tweets here.
Okay.
The first one was, and I mean it in my heart of hearts, as a Penn State alum and a Penn State football fan. The Cowboys are the Penn State of the NFL. They beat up on all the bad teams, every single bad team. They look great. They're going to the Super Bowl.
That's right. That's right. That's a good. I like that analogy.
They run up and down the field against the Giants, and they ran up and down the field against the Eagles. Oh, except one problem. They can beat the Eagles, just like Penn State. They can't beat Ohio State. They can't beat Michigan, the two good teams on their schedule. But the Dallas Cowboys, they do the same thing. Beat up on all the bad teams. Can't beat the Eagles. Can't beat the 49ers. What do you guys say to that?
Yeah,
I absolutely.
By the way, I should have added him to my, and I don't believe it, but Dak Prescott to the MVP conversation because of the numbers and the Cowboys and all the nonsense, but it's not real.
I didn't mention this to you guys last week. This is why I don't think Dak is ultimately ever going to win a Super Bowl. I still say Dak cares more about throwing a pass inside of the end zone and not throwing a pick than actually throwing it into the end zone off the chance it might get picked in a 28.
Yeah, we were talking about turnover-worthy plays. There are more conservative quarterbacks, and there are guys who will take chances. Brett Favre being probably the best, the ultimate gambler. Kenny Rogers of quarterbacks.
I'd love to know how many turnover-worthy plays Patrick Mahomes takes every single week. He only wins the MVP, but he throws the ball up for grabs.
Yeah, well, he
puts it at risk all the time, and he's the best player in the game.
Patrick Mahomes is Steph Curry. That's what Patrick Mahomes is.
That's a good analogy.
Patrick Mahomes is different than everybody else. He changed the game. He's got terrible mechanics. He throws turnover-worthy plays. You're right, Jody. He's got the arm to handle it, just like Brett Favre did back in the day. Other quarterbacks can't do what Patrick Mahomes can do. That's why Patrick Mahomes is Patrick Mahomes. No offense to your guy, but he can't do what Patrick Mahomes does. That's the point of why if you're a normal quarterback, you can't play the way Patrick Mahomes does. Just like if you're in an NBA game and you take a 30-footer, you'll get your ass put on the bench because you're not Steph Curry. That's why. That's why it's different. But yeah, there were plenty of people, and I got freezing cold takes. I thought it was ironic, and I'm in the book thanks to the freezing, because I said coming into the draft, Patrick Mahomes had horrible mechanics. I wasn't wrong, by the way. He still does, but it doesn't matter. He overcomes them.
That's why I try and put in proper context. Brock Purdy is not a star NFL quarterback because he has turnover-worthy plays. I don't care. Tell me about the results. Turnover-worthy is the most.
He had a play yesterday, Jody, where I thought it was going to get picked in the end zone.
The first touchdown, you're like, what the hell is he doing?
And he got a touchdown out of it.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. I'll weigh a little bit more heavily on the result of the play than was it actually turnover worthy. I just think that's a foolish way to state things. And
no, because you're looking, it's not for NFL teams because you're trying to be predictive and to say, oh, you're playing on a particular week and you make a bad throw and it turns into a touchdown doesn't mean that's going to be the case down the road. If you make bad throws, the whole point of it is trying to best you can, trying to predict the future, because the past doesn't matter. The future, if the more bad throws you make, the more bad things are going to happen. The more good throws you make, the more good things are going to happen. That doesn't mean good throws aren't intercepted, by the way. Anything can happen, but it's common sense. The more good throws, the more good things happen. The more bad throws, the more bad things happen.
Here's where I'll disagree with, quote unquote, your common sense. I'll look at the results. When you're saying a bad throw, a good throw, that would be subjective. Someone is sitting there and deciding, oh, I think that's a good throw. I think that's a bad throw. I don't think it's a good throw. I don't think it's a bad throw. We can disagree. You can't disagree with the result. Once the play's over, it's been decided. It is what it is. So I'll lean much more heavily on results.
No, nobody's taking a subjective a mediocre turnover worthy plays are not they're not on the deciding line. Nobody's saying, oh, that might be a bad throw. That's a bad throw. And no one's saying a good throw is a bad throw because maybe the receiver dropped the football, or maybe it bounced off the receiver's helmet and somebody intercepted and took it back the other way for 98 yards. It works both ways. Nobody's blaming the quarterback. Well, fans will blame the quarterback, fans who just read the box score, but coaches aren't blaming quarterbacks who make good throws. And again, the ball hits the receiver and the helmet goes the other way. Jeff, help me out here. Turnover-worthy throws are a predictive measurement. It isn't designed to say, hey, what Kyle Shanahan is doing is saying, yeah, probably don't do that again. That's what he's doing. That's it. It's a predictive. He's not going to bench him. He's not going to do anything. He's just saying that's probably not going to work all the time. So you use it as a teaching tool to move forward. And he's still a very young quarterback, and hopefully he learns from it. But the point is, if you continuously do that, you're going to get bitten by it. That's the only point of it.
Oh, I agree. And I'll say this from being competitive in another sport, bowling, where I can't throw a strike right now because I'm making bad shots. But there were times I was doing this a month ago and I was scoring. It does. Bad shots mean bad plays. It's in basketball, it's in bowling, it's in football. Bad throws equal bad plays. And Brock Purdy does that against the Lions or the Eagles or the Cowboys. That's probably a pick. And the Jaguars are a good opportunistic defense. If he does that play 9 times out of 10, it's probably a pick. It wasn't a good throw, but it made it work and changed the momentum of that football game. I mean, look, and Jody, I agree with the result too, to an extent, but there is a stat I always look up every week: interceptable balls or balls that should have been picked. Brock Purdy is among the league leaders in that.
Well, and who compiles that? I'd like to know.
The analytic people, the smart people. That's what they tell me.
Okay.
The Ivy Leaguers.
Yeah.
Good.
The NYU.
The Ivy Leaguers are going to win the. Who are the analytic people? Who are the Ivy Leaguers who are going to win Lombardi Trophy this year? I'm sorry, you're not going to win me.
Oh, the Eagles got Eagles.
And by the way, if Brock Purdy tries that against the Eagles nickel corner, he might be able to pull it off again. You say if he does it against the Eagles, it's going to
depends who it is.
Not
Bradley Roby's coming back this week.
Yeah.
Quick quiz for both of you. How many snaps has Bradley Roby played this year for the Eagles?
I'll say 27.
No, more than that, but not much.
I think he's in the 40s.
Is he in the 40s?
I think
it would be a grand total of 50 over 2 games. He's played 50 snaps. So he's the savior of the Eagles season. A guy who's played 50 snaps over the first 9 weeks of the season. We're really going there.
The Eagles are 8-1. They don't need a savior. They need a competent nickelback. I think he's going to be a competent nickelback. They already have the stars in place. They just need to get a little bit better at the nickel position. Ultimately, I think look, all I say is Bradley Roby is going to be better than Sidney Brown and Eli Ricks. That's a very low bar, but that's the bar.
Mario Goodrich is a lower bar.
To the tallest midget in the circus.
Yeah.
If that's what your bar is, you got to be better than Ricks and Sidney playing out of position guys.
You know what, Jody? If the midget can perform, who cares?
Well, the season isn't over. They're in great position and they're 8-1. I'm actually getting tired of saying this. I love it because it's Jalen Hurts, but got to keep the main thing. And they're 8-1. And you always got to come back to that. Yeah, they got issues at the corner. Yeah, they get injuries. Yeah, they got that. But they're 8-1. So you always have to try and remember to jump back to their 8-1. But we can in the bye week. That's what we do during the bye week is analyze, if not overanalyze, the fact that the Eagles have reached the bye week 8-1.
But when you watch these other teams in the league, and I'm talking about like maybe the 500 teams, like Atlanta's not a 500 team, but I'll use them as an example. They suck. They are not good at all. And this is a 500 team. The Saints are a 500 team. They're not good. The Eagles would beat these teams by 10, 15 points. I am convinced of that. Maybe even more than that.
Eagles haven't beaten anybody by 10 or 15 points, have they?
They're winning, though. They're keeping
14.
the main thing the main
They
thing.
beat Miami, ironically, by 2 touchdowns.
Well, Miami's like the Cowboys. They can't beat anybody good either.
Yeah, Atlanta, I think they have some talent. I think they got a bad coach. I go back to, that obviously Jeffrey Lurie was late in the process. He was deciding, he was hedging whether he should fire Doug Peterson, understandably so, because of what Doug had done here. And he fired him very late. And I think people forget, the Eagles wanted to interview Arthur Smith. They wanted to interview and got to interview Robert Saleh. They wanted to interview Brandon Staley. Those were the hot candidates at the time. Think about that.
I got a Brandon Staley stat for you, John. You know the Chargers are the only team in NFL history to
Brandon Staley turned down the Eagles. Go ahead.
Yeah. They're the only team in NFL history to score on a touchdown on every possession with 40 minutes left in the game, and they lost.
And he's a defensive guy, by the way.
He's a defensive guy, exactly.
Fangio guy, by the way.
Justin Herbert, they have scored 1,502 points with Justin Herbert in Justin Herbert starts at quarterback and allowed the exact same amount. That is incredible.
That's
what a franchise.
How he was ever one of the top candidates, I don't know. But I'll get an opinion on both of you guys. Who will be the hottest candidate this offseason? Because I absolutely positively know who's going to be on top of the pile.
Oh, boy, I haven't started to think about it. That's a good question.
That's a good question. I have a feeling Jody knows the answer.
Lock top candidate in the
personally,
NFL.
I think it's Ben Johnson on the line.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
It's going to be Ben Johnson. He will be the number one candidate forever, and the Lions will be heading into the postseason. So we're going to get into the when can you talk to him thing again. You got the week off. You can virtually interview him, but you can't bring him into the building. Oh, it'll be a big.
They changed the rules this year too. They changed the rules. I forget what they changed it to. I haven't gotten into all the muck of the off-season coaching, although maybe I should, because people are trying to get Bill Belichick fired on the plane ride home from Frankfurt, Germany, who, by the way, I think the fans in Frankfurt are going to ban professional football. I mean, my God,
after that atrocity.
Yeah.
Nice.
No, they'll keep doing it just so they can sing West Virginia, Rocky Mountain. They just get nuts every single time.
Isn't it Take Me Home Country Roads?
Yeah,
there?
Exactly. I didn't correctly state the title of the song. Sorry. Did you know that John Denver was German? That's why they sing that?
No,
I had no idea.
I have no idea why people. When did that become a thing? What college does that? There's a big college that does.
West Virginia does it. I just mentioned.
Oh, it is West Virginia.
All right. Well, yeah. Then I understand why I'm going. Why the hell are they singing that song in Germany during a football game?
Yeah, I don't get it. I don't get why West Virginia does it. I don't get it.
Well,
why does Penn
the song's
State
about
swing,
West Virginia, so I get it.
Why is
Penn State the song? I didn't know the song was about West Virginia.
Why is Penn State sing Sweet Caroline? When do we ever have good times?
Well, people steal, who did it first? Red Sox or Penn State? Red Sox.
Red Sox did. Red Sox. Yeah. I want to say Penn State started in the late 70s.
Wisconsin stole Jump Around, and not that everybody doesn't do Jump, but that's pretty cool when 100,000 people do that.
Oh, yeah.
I remember when they came back from the pandemic, and they did that.
Who did they steal it from? Who did it before them? I always thought it was Wisconsin.
Every NBA arena in the country.
Yeah.
I don't know who did it first, but every NBA team does that. Maybe Wisconsin.
I was going to say not on every given night. It's every game at Wisconsin. If they're losing in the NBA, you don't get that song. I can guarantee you that. They do it in Wisconsin, whether they're winning or losing. They do it every single week. That's dedication. That you get credit for it. It's creating it. if you're so dedicated that you
Well,
do it
the
every
song's
single-
also not that old. I mean,
In 1993 it came
yeah.
out. So
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
well, that's what I mean. Wisconsin has been doing it pretty much the whole time, so I give them credit. All right, yesterday results. San Francisco looks good, comes back after a 3-game losing streak. Lions beat that stiff Staley out there in Los Angeles, and all of a sudden the Cowboys can beat the snot out of somebody, and they beat up the Giants. Which of those 3 teams worries you most heading into the second half of the season? It's Eagle competition, Jeff.
I said yesterday, Lions are the biggest threat to the Eagles in the NFC. I don't care. They're the team that's a game back. They're the team that doesn't have to play the Eagles. They're the team that has the easy schedule. If there is a threat for the number 1 seed in the NFC, is the Detroit Lions. I'm going to stick by that. Look, the Eagles.
I agree with the threat to the number 1 seed,
and that's where I was going with. People don't look at it like, oh, yeah, Eagles gonna beat them. Yeah, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying they're 7-2.
The biggest threat to knock off the Eagles remains the 49ers, though, in my estimation. If they're healthy coming into a game.
But the Eagles can also beat them and put them in an even deeper.
Oh, I think the Eagles, Matt, I said, if you forced me to pick them, we did that a couple weeks ago. I said Eagles because they just match up better than San Francisco matches up with them. But they are the most talented team, arguably from 2 to 53 in the NFL. But I think the Eagles have the quarterback, the offensive line, the defensive front.
You know what scares me about the Lions, honestly? They have a good offensive line. They're probably just as good as the Eagles. It's crazy to think that, but they do.
Yeah, their offensive line is great. I've been talking about it for years. Jody knows it's phenomenal.
And Dan Campbell is crazy. Like he literally goes for
people. Yeah,
he goes for a 4th down more than Nick does.
They won a game last year. I forget which game it was with Penei Sewell running a tackle eligible, which goes back to Ben
caught
Johnson.
A pass. He was an eligible tackle.
That's what I mean.
On
4th down. On 4th down to win a game. They're doing stuff and this works with the Eagles as well, but they've taken it to even farther lengths. When you go for it on 4th down, it puts so much pressure on the opposing defense when you're willing to do that. Think about it. We've gotten into too much numbers crunching. You got to get 10 yards. That's 2.5 yards a down. A bad offense should be able to do that. You put so much stress. I saw it yesterday a couple times where you have, and Jim Schwartz used to do this, and I have tremendous respect for Jim Schwartz with the picket fence and all that. Fans hated it. The problem with that now is you have so many teams willing to go for it. So you not only have to stop a team on 3rd and 13 or whatever, you can't let them get close. In other words, if it's 4th and 2 with the Eagles or the Lions, they're going for it in plus territory.
My favorite part of that game yesterday, by the way, was Dan Campbell going for it 4th and 2 on the 28 when he got a Riley Patterson kick, but he said right through the game, Justin Herbert was not getting the ball back. So he went for broke and he got it and got to run the clock down and won. That's a
ballsy decision because if they don't get it, he's going to get murdered. But
he went for it 3 times on 4th down in 1 possession and still didn't get the touchdown. He didn't get the 4th and goal, but he got a 4th and 6 and a 4th and 5 earlier on the same possession.
Yeah, it puts so much pressure on the opposing defense because you not only have to stop them on 3rd down, you have to stop them from getting close on 3rd down. And I don't think enough teams have picked up on that, to be honest. Because if you just play picket fence that's why I brought up Jim. Well, if you're going to let them get to within a yard or 2, you got to stop them again. And now they're in a manageable situation. So,
how about Brian Dable yesterday going for it on 4th and goal early in the game, and then when the game's way out of hand, he kicks?
Yeah, at that point,
Well,
he's just trying to give his young quarterback, who unfortunately for the Giants has to play again next week, a little something to build on. The game was
That's your coach of the year, by the way. That was
hey, he did a great job. It doesn't change the fact that he did a
great job for 7 games. He did a great job for 7 games. And then they played people. And then they lost.
Well, I thought they were one of the worst teams in football coming into last year. And
I thought they were one of the worst teams in football last year, and they won 9 games.
And they won a playoff game. And I thought it was to a certain degree a mirage, but I think that's a good coaching job when you get a team that's limited to that position. So I don't think Brian Daboll became a bad coach. He's down to his third string quarterback, who's Tommy DeVito. I mean,
the Goodfellas guy.
Yeah, he's better. He should.
The Goodfellas guys don't still live at home and have their mother make their bed, which Tommy DeVito admitted yesterday.
Hey, you know what? He's
still
might
living
be a
at home.
Man
his mom's cooking him pasta, and she makes his bed on a day.
Well, by the way, if he was a good fella, he'd get whacked after that performance because he embarrassed the family. Yeah. He embarrassed the family.
Whole bunch.
Can I pat myself on the back here? I called the Giants being terrible this year and the Patriots being terrible.
I've been calling them terrible for 2 years, Jeff. You got to get behind me.
Well, well, you know what? I probably got my insight from you, McMullen, because we talk about how bad teams all the time. We don't talk about good teams around.
Yeah. Well, good teams don't interest me as much as bad teams.
Yeah.
We're bored that the Eagles are good. It's kind of funny.
And I, like you two football geniuses, didn't think the Giants were going to make the playoffs either. I didn't know they'd be this bad. I don't know anybody.
No, I didn't think they'd be the worst team in the NFL.
They go from
the worst team in the NFL.
A playoff winning team the year before to the worst team in the NFL. I don't know anybody predicted that.
I said they would be last in the NFC East and they'll be one of the worst teams in the league. That was one of my bold predictions.
Okay.
And the Patriots will win 5 games. I might be wrong on that. They might not.
You're going too high on the Patriots.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Hey, let me run this one by you. Who was it yesterday? Gave me this. Oh, it was Zach Cowboy, host Ion Football with the tail end of his show. Bill Belichick next year coaching the Los Angeles Chargers.
That doesn't help Justin Herbert.
It's better than Brandon Staley.
The problem still remains. He can't
who's helping Justin Herbert?
Kellen Moore.
Yeah, it's probably better than Joe Lombardi, but I mean, I don't know.
Shane Steichen is the guy Justin Herbert. That's the guy the Chargers should have hired as head coach. Justin Herbert.
Does anybody think the Chargers lose games because of Justin Herbert? Well, I'm sure people do.
Well, no, people do. If you go on X, they think Justin Herbert's a loser.
Yeah.
I don't know. The only thing I'll say is he might be slightly overrated, but he's not a friggin' loser. He's a talent, and they lose because of their defense. That's why bringing in Belichick would not be a bad thing for the Chargers. I never even considered it, and I said yesterday the one thing that would be bad would be I just don't see Belichick as a California guy. I know we saw a video of him this week with his shirt off, hanging out on a beach somewhere, but no. That's not Bill Belichick. He's not an LA kind of guy, but that would be a massive upgrade for the Chargers if they get Belichick next year.
Well, anybody's a massive upgrade over Brandon Staley. Jody McDonald's a massive upgrade over Brandon Staley.
All right, I'm going to give you one, Jeff. If I tell you C.J. Stroud is the best rookie quarterback since, who are you going to go with?
Well, Patrick Mahomes didn't play much as a rookie. How about? Oh man, hold on. I gotta think about this. It's better than Cam Newton. Cam Newton had a good rookie year.
I'm trying Cam's rookie year. He stepped right in.
Peyton threw 26 touchdowns, but he also threw 24.
Yeah, he threw a lot of picks.
Yeah. Oh man.
He's very good. He's
all right, John. All right, John. Go.
I'm asking. Like,
man, this is tough because there aren't that many rookie quarterbacks that legitimately should be in MVP conversations.
Yeah,
that's
the point. He's another one. Now, Jody and I were talking about MVPs. Now, I only put it the MVP candidate as guys who legitimately have a shot to win the award. I don't think he's got a legitimate shot to win the award.
I got my answer but his career didn't turn out well. Robert Griffin.
Oh, he had.
That's
a
right.
good one. That's a good one.
RG3 as a skin.
Yeah,
he was very
tremendous.
good out of the box.
Yeah.
I mean, he definitely deserves some MVP conversation in 2012. That's how good he was.
Yeah. That's a good one.
My question for Johnny Mack would be about C.J. Stroud. It flies in the face of his. You got to have an offensive-minded head coach with a young quarterback. If you're going to draft a young quarterback, develop a young quarterback.
Oh, I said that's what I would do. I would always, and I know DeMeco Ryans. Obviously.
So if you were the general manager of the Texans, you wouldn't have hired DeMeco Ryans.
No, I would never hire. I say that I'm above board on that. In this era, I would never hire. It's not fair.
We talked about Ben Johnson, right, as a head coach. Bobby Slownick should be a head coach. I love that hire when they brought him over for the 49ers. When DeMeco hired, that was his first hire. And I'm like, ooh, I wonder who his quarterback's going to be. Because I figured Young was going to go 1, so Stroud would go 2. I'm like, I'm really curious to see how that's going to work out because Stroud can throw. And, yeah, it's working out really well.
No, I also pay more attention to the leadership aspect of it. So, but I want an offensive guy that understands the leadership aspect. He's got to be involved with the entire team. Very similar to Jalen Hurts as a quarterback versus Carson Wentz as a quarterback. Like Carson's ultra focused on the offense. Jalen's like, they bring in a practice squad linebacker. He's introducing himself. He's texting welcome to the team. You got to have it's a very difficult job to hire. But if you're hiring a scheme, I don't know if Ben Johnson's going to be a great coach, but that's a good name, Jody. And you went number 1 for a reason because he's the in offensive mind. That's what people look for. Why do they look for that? Because offense is more important. I mean, that's just the way it is. I don't like it, but that's just the way it is.
I mean, Robert Saleh, I think, is a great defensive coach, and he can't get over 500 as a football coach. He can't, but I think he'd be one hell of a defense coordinator if Jets ever let him go.
Right. If he wants to go back to being a defense coordinator. We've seen too many guys in the league who are great coordinators who just should never be head coaches because that's not their lane.
Dennis Allen, the number 1 example. He sucks as a head coach.
And by the way, if the Eagles go, I'm not even going to say win the Super Bowl, but if they go to the Super Bowl, Brian Johnson is gone. He's one and done. If they make the NFC Championship game, lose there, a little bit more wiggle room. He might be one and done. Brian Johnson might be one and done. It's just the way it works.
Who would be elevated then? Would they elevate
Kevin Patullo?
Yeah. I was gonna say, would it be Patullo?
Yeah.
Because I don't see an outside the box hire there. You know what? John, I actually think we're gonna get 8 or 9 head coaching vacancies this year.
Yeah, it could be a lot, and
we only have 5 last.
That could be enough to get. I think Johnson's got more to prove. John's got him halfway out the door. I need to see more.
Well, I said if they win.
Right, you did qualify it. If they make it to the you said Super Bowl championship games. All right, so if they make it to NFC championship,
that's a lot. That you're proving a lot. If you get to the
just remember, Cinderella's stepmother coined "if." By the way, if she got all her chores done, she could
yeah.
the ball.
Yeah. It's always if. If they go out and lose every game after, no, he's not going to be the head coach. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think they're going to be a good team. I think they're going to make a run towards the Super Bowl again. What changed, Jeff? You sit there as the puppet master, as an Eagles fan, you get to watch everybody. I would say because the good teams, and I'll put that in quotes, some are good, like the 49ers. Some are like the Cowboys, as you mentioned, the Penn State of the NFL. I'm going to steal that. I love that.
Go ahead. You're more than welcome
to. They all look good. It's not fun when you're sitting back watching the teams that are supposed to be the contenders look good. Lions look good. Well, offensively, not so much defensively.
Yeah.
Basically, every potential playoff team won. Does that put some angst in you as an Eagles guy?
Not really. I mean, the Eagles, in my opinion, if they go 3-2 in their next 5, they're going to get a home field. That's just how I'm looking at the schedule. And look, you can control your own narrative here. You got Kansas City. Buffalo probably isn't going to be the game you think it is, although Josh Allen's a stud. San Fran, again, if they go, even if they go 2-3 and their 2 wins are San Francisco and Dallas, they might be better off than going 3-2 because
Dallas has won how many straight in AT&T Stadium?
I think it's
Jody?
12.
12 straight.
Yeah, it's 12.
12 in a row.
But by the way, I said that spread was too low. What was it? 17 and a half. I said it was too low. I said they win by 30. They should have just put it at 30 and won. Yeah, 49ers actually, I think they won by 31 and the Cowboys won by 32, but the 49ers win was much more impressive.
Oh, much more impressive. They beat a good team. Although if I'm
team on the road,
I'm really disappointed in that performance if I'm Doug Peterson. I mean, it's one thing to lose, but the way they lost, I'd be very disappointed.
They weren't even competitive in that game, and Trevor Lawrence looked awful.
All right, forget the ex-Eagle coach. Jeff Kerr, I got a question for you about the current Eagles coach. Last one for you today. If you had Nick Sirianni wired up, starting with the first meeting when the players return from their bye, which does he talk more about? Game 10, week 11, or rematch with the Kansas City Chiefs? Does he just narrow focus one game at a time? We know the coach speak and the like, and it's week 11, and then we'll have week 12. We just had week 9. Does he stay in that mode, or does he have to tap into, you remember what happened last February? We were this close to taking home the Lombardi, and who kept us from doing that? The Chiefs. Which does he lean more heavily on? The 1 week at a time, or we owe this team, we got to get revenge?
I feel like this is more of a revenge game for the Eagles front office and the Eagles organization than it is for Nick Sirianni, if I'm going to be quite honest. But I do think Nick does tap into the well and say, hey, look, we were, like you said, Jody, we were this close. We were this close. And this happened. And this happened. And that was the team you watched win the championship last year on the same field you were playing on. I think it's definitely a motivational factor. You have a chance to go beat them in their stadium. I think Nick shows a video of, maybe Patrick Mahomes at his press conference, or Patrick Mahomes hugging Britney or something like that. Or maybe, Taylor Swift running over the Travis Kelce in Argentina. And
how disgusting of Travis Kelce to leave Kansas City.
How dare Travis Kelce take off on his bye week
for a Super Bowl rematch, Jeff Kerr. Not even prefer. The Eagles have already won this game, as far as I'm concerned.
You know what? My favorite sarcastic answer from football players, and this is not just Eagles players, this is everybody around the league. What kind of fun things you can do this all season? Oh, didn't you hear? I work out every day. I'm always watching. I'm Jimmy. Someone actually said to me, I'm Jimmy Butler. I'm the first one in and the last one out, and I only take an hour to sleep. And I'm like, oh my God.
And by the way, and they might even be out. I haven't looked yet.
By the way, John, I know it is a bad look, but how dare Kenny Gainwell check his phone?
Yes.
Now we're going over old ground. I'll look forward. Predictive here, even. 77.5 yards. Travis Kelce against the Eagles next Monday night. You taking under or over, Jeff Kerr?
I'll take the over.
Over, despite the fact that he went to Argentina.
I'm taking the under. Travis, Taylor Swift sucked everything. I shouldn't say that.
All right. Well, now I'm gonna have to make you define that, Johnny Mac. Not what Taylor Swift did.
Come on.
Are you being
your mind out of the
or
gutter.
are you being truthful?
No,
77.5 yards for Travis Kelce.
I'm being completely cynical.
Okay,
completely cynical.
We're going to
maybe you thought that Bradley Roby was going to hold him to 40 yards.
Travis Kelce is playing in the middle of the field against the back seven of the Eagles.
Yeah, done.
Yeah.
So somehow I don't think his trip to Argentina is
he can stop off in Santiago on the way back in Chile. He can do whatever he wants. He's still going over 77.
You guys will enjoy this. So everybody gets so bent out of shape over the Taylor Swift, and that's all they talk about in the NFL. I said, yeah, well, try growing up 10 minutes from Taylor Swift, knowing people who know Taylor Swift, and hearing about her every day of your life since she was 10. So it doesn't bother me when they
She
talk
was that
about
big a
Taylor
deal
Swift.
when you were in grade school?
Oh, she was a huge deal. She was a
Really?
huge
I
deal.
just don't understand the mentality of, man, we go all the way. We're talking Super Bowl. We got to go. At Jeff Kerr, CBS. Thanks, Jeff. Make sure you read Jeff there. Does a tremendous job. Sorry about Penn State. But yeah,
I'm
I
not.
can't believe, going all the way back to Gannon in the Super Bowl. I can't get through to people that these people don't think about football 24/7. They are human beings. They go home to their families. They go home to their girlfriends. They take vacation. They're human beings. Stop treating them like video games.
How dare they eat lunch, John McMullen?
Ugh. They eat lunch every day, by the way.
Some of these guys
every
eat a lot
day.
of lunch.
And that
They're big
cafeteria
boys.
is tremendous at the Nova.
You know where they get that crazy mentality from? I swear it's Dick Vermeil's fault, because that's all Dick Vermeil did, to the point where he burned himself.
I've written a column about that in the past. I think Dick Vermeil. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I agree. They wear their work ethic like a badge of honor, sleeping on the couch. Alcoholism is a huge thing in this industry with coaches. Yeah, go home, have a life. Steve Spurrier got it right. Doug Peterson got it right. Get out by 4:00, go play some golf. You're going to be ready.
More power.
I actually think Andy Reid worked himself a lot in his early years. I think he's really scaled back.
Yeah, but he still likes those nuggies. I see that commercial every other hour on.
Yes, he does
Jake
like
from
the
State
nuggies.
Farm trying to get his.
And by the way, Nick Sirianni, that's motivation. Nick Sirianni wants to beat Andy Reid.
Oh yeah, absolutely, he does. John, you and I know a famous quote Nick Sirianni said. We can't repeat on here.
Yes,
he
wants to beat Andy Reid.
Yeah, he wants to beat everybody.
That's true. He's very competitive.
I do like Nick's fire when he plays Kyle Shanahan's Reed.
Even though they will crush me on the stream, my guy Dominique, who takes every shot that he possibly can on me, will do so here. Andy Reid, after the bye in his career, 28-4. 20. Let me repeat that. This is not hating. This is just stating facts. Andy Reid in his career after a week off is 28-4. Nick Sirianni's got his work cut out for him. I'm not saying he can't beat the Chiefs. I'm just saying he's running uphill this week. He can run hard. He can be motivated. He can really want it badly. It's a tough hill to climb playing Andy Reid after the week after a bye. 28-4. It speaks for itself.
Thank God Travis Kelce helped.
He went to Argentina. I want to know what Patrick Mahomes did this week while we're on the bye here.
Ask Brittany. Ask Brittany. She'll know.
Yeah, we'll find that out.
She will know. She might have been at the concert. They're BFFs now.
Yeah.
Jeff Kerr, we appreciate you jumping in as you do every single Monday. We will talk to you. We want to save Kerr for Tuesday after the game or get him up before the game. Well, we'll figure that out during the week. Jeff Kerr, have a good week leading up to the Eagles and the Chiefs. We'll talk to you sometime next week.
Yeah, sounds good. Can't wait for this game already, and it's 7 days away.
Yeah, we got 7 more days to wait.
Thank you, Jeff.
From CBSSports.com. All right, McMullen and McDonald, a.k.a. Mac and Mac, coming back. We got another good guest joining us. Going to be a little later next hour. We haven't had Zach Berman on in a while. He'll join us in hour number 2 on Birds 365.